Okay, so this is actually the second cut because not only was there something I technically forgot to mention, it was one of those things. So I usually check out, not including movies and the OGNs, the comics that I'll read like one per day, one chapter, one issue of this per day. That's usually 25. I like that number. It's just that's how much I am able to read, and nothing more, nothing less. It was one less, so I had to put one of my books in there, and I'm glad I did because it was one that's a 12 issue series. It's also a reread, um, but yeah, it was just one of those things where I completely forgot about that. I was just gonna upload it, but I was like, I don't show it off, and it's not being uploaded until tomorrow anyway. So why the hell not? Or is it? No, it's I think it's Saturday for the comic reviews, and Sunday, yeah, that's what it is. And then Monday it will be, or whatever day. I'm losing track of days. Yeah, I'll look up my phone. But there's a comic call coming up. Now, one thing that is kind of pissing me off is that even though one is out for delivery, right, as of right now, one's out for delivery and one's being processed at the Amazon facility. The Amazon being processed, it means it comes in. It means it's coming in today, but they're saying arriving tomorrow. I don't know why it said that. I don't know why it changed. I think it's happened before with actually the Hellboy book a long time ago, like last year. And what happened was it said arriving tomorrow because it had gone to the first facility so late. But it never usually happens. So I'm hoping, it's being processed. I'm hoping it just comes in today, but I don't know what the hell's going on. And Amazon is so annoying sometimes. I would not be surprised if they did that. They just decided, you're ordering too much. There's two other things that aren't mine, and it's two packages total. Well, three packages total. One book already came in, but that will be uploaded. Here, let's check. That's my videos. Yeah, I think okay. So it's 22nd and 23rd. So yes. So Monday's video. Wait. No. Sorry, you already got the comic review. Comic review was Thursday. And you're getting Omnibus Friday today. And tomorrow you're getting, the comics will be this video. So tomorrow's Saturday. So Sunday it'll be the comic haul. Sorry. Not Monday, Sunday. See, I just I upload so much, and I go because I want to do at least one video a day, one video per week, and not more than one video per day. So I usually will do like a few days straight of video. So I lose track. I know it was 4, but I know when it uploaded when. Without further ado, let's get into it. First two are movies. First up, and both ones I've been dying to see. Sisu and Are You There, God's Me, Margaret. I read the book a long time ago, really liked it. When I heard they making a movie out of it, I was a bit skeptical, because I feel like the book was pretty controversial. And even though I was sure the movie would be PG-13 anyways, and they, one of those things where they would be able to adapt it faithfully, I was a bit skeptical. Have not seen it yet. I'm dying to see it. But waiting till movie night to watch that though, and honestly both technically, because one is a mom movie, one's a dad movie, so it kind of works out. But I'm probably gonna watch Sisu tomorrow if anything, because I feel like my doesn't like watch movies anyways, and to set that is like it's not gonna happen, so I'll just watch myself more than likely. The first one up is so the first I think it was 16, maybe even more. I think it's 17 at this point, because I'm including the OGN as the reread. It is a reread. This first one up is technically a reread, although I'm finishing it up. It's one of those things, what does this count as? Does it count as a reread? Because I am still reading the same book I haven't finished yet, but it's all new material. I've never finished it before. That's Marvel's Companion. I've been trying to finish it, just never got around to it. It's a pretty thick book, so it's a lot of book to it. But it's technically not a reread, but it's still it's not, because none of these I've started yet. I mean, one of them technically I have, I finished, but that was, I wouldn't count that as that. But this one, before, weeks before I'd started, so what do you count it as? Yeah, I'm not going to go back to the beginning, obviously, but it's also not technically a new book either. So the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 are all rereads. but one of them is a OGN, and one of them I won't be reading right away. So first up we have the Ratcatcher as a reread. I really like this book, and it's a pretty quick book too. It's an OGN, and you can probably knock this out in like 2 hours, 2 to 4 hours. At maximum 4 hours, like 2 hours probably can knock that out. It's one of those books that I like going back to because there is something that happens at the end of the book where it's like, oh, now I need to reread it kind of thing and see if I can see like certain like what do you call it, like I do a Sixth Sense where you like certain like information or certain points in the movie you're like, oh, this character said this or that, like, you know, that kind of thing. But very good crime book. Reading it yet again. Hopefully it stands up. I hate saying it like, oh, it's really good because I'm not reviewing the book. It's just a reread, so obviously I'm going to say like, oh, before I liked it, before I didn't like it. But it's like, it's kind of, I don't know. It's one of those things I hate to say it like that. Superman, American Alien. Hopefully this and Marvel's Companion I get around to reading. So this one, spit it out. Come on. Nope, where's it? It's gone. Oh, it was a Max Landis book, I guess. I don't know. This one, like I mentioned before, it was a book that got me into Superman. It was one of the first Superman books I've ever read, and I haven't read it since. It's been a long time since I've read this book. Then we have, this is a reread, and the one that I didn't even show at all because I thought I had 25 books, but I didn't. Checked out from the library that were like this, where it's just to check with a chapter. I know it's really weird, but it's Rorschach, by the way. I want to give this a second chance because I'm kind of in the middle when it comes to Tom King, his writing. I don't completely hate his writing, but I don't completely love it either. Yeah, I think this is one that I should reread. And I just like, I remember liking parts of this book. You know, it was one of those books where I liked parts of it, and I want to go back to that, and kind of I'm forgetting a little bit of what happened in it. And also, I want to read it alongside your boy Zach, because I already watched Comic Pop's video on it, and now I'm going to watch your boy Zach's video on it. And he actually does go by issue, which is nice. Comic Pop is just the entire trade all together. And sometimes I won't know where one issue starts. I'm like, where did the issue end? I don't exactly remember. And sometimes I'll get lucky and they'll either say this is where this issue ends, issue 4 ends with, or I'll just remember, so they'll say, oh yeah, and he did this. Like, oh yeah, that's right too, I remember that. So, but yeah, I like doing that. I'll watch, I'll do it by issue, and I won't watch the whole entire thing once I finish this book, no. But I like doing that. It's so stuttery. I do like doing that. It's kind of like, it's almost like a book, a virtual book club, but you don't say anything. They say everything. They talk the whole time. It's community joke. But anyways, Rorschach, Tom King. And this next one, I have been waiting to reread for the longest time. And this is technically not a reread because I haven't finished it, but it's still a reread. You know, it's like a Marvel's Companion. I just realized that. It's exactly like that. But I will be starting it. Unlike Marvel's Companion, I will be starting this from the beginning. Now this book it's a long time ago. I almost want to say it was like 2 to 3 years ago. A long time ago. And this one, for the longest time, and this is there's two interlibrary loan catalogs. One is ILL and the other is G-Milks. G-Milks is, if this was on G-Milks, I would have gotten it a long time ago. Like back when they first started G-Milks. G-Milks is newer than ILL. It's just their system. And ILL is like, yeah, you might get the book. It's very 50-50. And this one I kept putting in, they kept saying, nope, it's not in. Nope. And I kept putting it in. I'm glad I kept doing that. I'm glad I stayed consistent. Because I finally was able to check out New 52 Futures End Volume 1. Now, I'm sure I won't come out of this book absolutely loving it, but it's Brian Azzarello, who I believe writes everything. No, it's Brian Azzarello, Jeff Lemire, Dan Jurgens, and Keith Giffen, all amazing writers. And I've read at least one book from them I can say I really liked. Dan Jurgens, I had to think of it. I just read like Orphans issues. I read his Death of Superman. That's what I read. And then Brian Azzarello, I read his 100 Bullets, not all of it, but a good amount of it, and his Wonder Woman run, all of his Wonder Woman run, and both were amazing. Jeff Lemire, I read the first volume of Sweet Tooth, really like that. Gotta jump back on that one, but I want to get like all of his Image Comics stuff that's out right now before I do that. And then Celebration, I'll finally finish Sweet Tooth. And I watched the TV show too. And Keith Giffen, I've read a few issues of Superman, of his Blue Beetle run, which is amazing, and probably some other Orphan like Justice League issues too. But off the top of my head, that's what I've read by them. I can remember. Jeff Lemire, I read a bunch of his other stuff too. I can't remember. I know there was that weird Vertigo book he did that I liked a lot better the second time, but it still was not like a recommend for me. But anyways, Future's End. Next one up is one that I keep coming back to because, yeah, like with Future's End, it's not like a part of the Marvel universe, a part of Marvel history that everyone likes equally, and someone I didn't even like, most of the Ultimate Universe I didn't like, except for Spider-Man and X-Men maybe, and Fantastic Four, but it was it's one of those things, like a New 52. When people think of the Ultimate Universe, they think of it very negatively, unless it's Spider-Man or maybe X-Men. But this book is written by Warren Ellis, who I really like as a writer, and I like as a writer, and I think he is a bit misunderstood as a person. Yeah, he is kind of a weirdo, but I think people don't do the research, And if you do the research, if you watch less biased opinions on him, you might see a pattern in the comic book industry. I'm not going to explain more. I'm just going to show up the book. It's Ultimate Galactus Trilogy. I've read this a bunch of times, and I liked part of it, but I just always find it kind of slow. But I still every now and then I'll remember back to this book, and I'll be like, check it out again. Why not? So, there you have it. I believe it's all written, actually. I believe it's all written by Warren Ellis. Yeah, different pencilers for each trilogy book. It's a trilogy, 3 parts. So three graphic novels put into one oversized hardcover. And check the status on my books. I doubt anything is out for delivery that isn't already out for delivery. But it would be nice. I don't think anything's arrived yet, too. There's one's from UPS and one's from Amazon themselves. I wish they were both UPS. It still says tomorrow. I hate that. Why would you say tomorrow when you're being processed at the facility? It might be a glitch on their system. They've had it actually is a glitch if I check. If you do see all updates, there's a few glitches that don't make any sense. So I think it's the Amazon glitching. I hope it is, I should be looking at it. It's a big process of facility. I don't know why I'm who am I even going to get? Of course I'm going to get it. Again, alright. But anyways, moving on. Next one up is kind of funny because there's another ongoing of this series written by the same writer, probably drawn by the same artist. And this is also the book that I started out reading. It's Coda, Simon Spurrier, and Mateus Baraga. I didn't think this was the best thing ever. I was kind of meh about it. But I need to give it a second chance. If so many people liked it, especially so many writers that I especially so many writers I absolutely love, like Kieran Gillen and Jeff Lemire, then something is wrong with me. Something, I don't know. I think it is just Simon Spurrier's writing that I won't like, except for Hellblazer and hopefully what I've gotten from him before. Just three trades of Image Comics I've gotten from him, and each book is a different series, and they're all 6 issues. One's actually 4, but it's longer, so it might as well be 6. But I liked this Hellblazer run, and I liked parts of the Spire. That's also at Boom Studios, both of Boom Studios, the Spire and this Coda. And both I remember not liking. The Spire I just read, and this one I read a little while ago. But it does seem like it's a different kind of book than Spire, from what I remember. It wasn't as juvenile with its humor. In fact, I don't think it had I think it did have some, but it wasn't. If I can't remember that the humor was terrible and annoying, then it probably wasn't terrible and annoying, is my point. But yeah, there is a sequel series right now, and they still call it Coda #1. It's so weird. I don't know if it's because I was just looking up on Comic Book Roundup. Occasionally I will check them out. And they're not as, I kind of forget about them, honestly, and I should trust them. I do technically trust them more than Goodreads, because they never really steered me wrong, and Goodreads has now and again. But with they said Coda #1. I was like, that's weird. And then in the parentheses, they said 2023, which I found so odd. I think I looked up on Amazon too. It was another ongoing. It was again same writer. And it wasn't like Coda Volume 4 #1 or Coda 4 #1. No, it's just Coda #1, or not even Coda #16. It's weird. So I believe we have 15 issues out right now. It depends on how much it collects. I'm not gonna look it up. Oh, and also one of the rare Boom Studios books, which Volume 1 is $10. Do this more often, Boom Studios, and I'll probably go to you next after I'm done with my Image Comics collection. But they got Coda. And also, ironically enough, the first time I had checked out Coda, it was before I saw the movie Coda. They're completely unrelated. That was a Hulu deaf person movie. And honestly, both I do feel like they're both overrated. You know, not overrated, but like overhyped. It's kind of ironic. You know, they're both called Coda. But I think I liked Coda more the movie than the. I shouldn't say like it's based off the comic. It's not. One's fantasy, one's like real life, like contemporary. I think they call it. Like it's like real life, kind of like realistic fiction kind of thing. Okay, so Superior Iron Man Volume 2. I did show off Volume 1. It was a reread. I don't know what to mention. I remember really liking the series, and I'm hooked again. And honestly, it's one of those. Honestly, it kind of like it feels like I'm reading it for the first time, kind of thing, because there's a lot that I forgot about it, and it's been so long since I've read it before, so it is kind of nice in that regard. Then we got Green Arrow Volume 1, the new 52 version that no one likes, and it's written, ironically enough, by Dan Jurgens. How about that? Now, the only reason why I'm reading this run is so I can get to the Jeff Lemire run, because I want to go in order for new 52. What is JT Cruel too? JT Cruel had a and Keith Giffen. Huh, that's funny. Yeah, all three of them are writing it. JT Cruel had a run beforehand. I swear to God, I had both these volumes before New 52 at my local library. They didn't. It's weird. Maybe need to do by ISBN. They'll find it. But anyways, I want to read this before I get to Jeff Lemire's run. I want to go in order. It's like, why not? And this is a reread. I just had given up. It's like, you know what? No. But hopefully it's I like a lot more. So I don't mind different interpretations of popular characters, you know. Even if you like assassinate the character, it's still a different interpretation of the character. So you still have your headcanon version, not even headcanon because it's canon. You still have your main Marvel Universe version of like I don't know, Wolverine, let's say. So I've never really understood that. Like, oh, it's not the good. Yeah, it's not, but it's not a good version of the character probably. But I was trying to look at the under. I can't show it off, can I? Kind of. It's really good artwork. This is a 2-for-1 deal. It's Garth Ennis and Liam Sharp, Batman Reptilian. Reading this one yet again. The first time I read it, I didn't really like it. Second time, I absolutely loved it. Third time, let's hope it stays true the second time. Then we have Preacher, Volume 5. Ironically enough, I put them both the Garth Ennis books back to back. Nice. So yeah, Book 5, Preacher. Wicked and Divine, Volume 5. Now, I'm flip-flopping on whether or not I want to get this. I want to buy this series myself, and it'd be on my Christmas list. I'd wait till then. I'm debating whether or not I should do that. So it's like one of those things where it has pros and cons. The pros kind of overweigh the cons, but there is one con that is like getting up there to overlap the pros, and that's the fact that some of the used like news are going out of stock. I want to get most of them if I can, if not all of them, from third-party sellers, provided they're cheaper than the original, and the list price on Amazon. 9 times out of 10 they are. And it's Christmas, so I'm not going to be like, oh, well, I don't want to. No, it's been Christmas, so no one's going to care how much I check out. It's Christmas. Everyone should shut up about that, how much $10 I'm getting, kind of thing. I'm not saying you guys are paying my family. They just don't like. And I have a lot of comics, but it's one of those things that I'm trying to get a little more annoying about. It's like, guys, I have a hobby, and I unfortunately have a very small room that I can't hold all my comics. To a certain degree. I mean, eventually, I get that part. I get that part. I get that, eventually when I run out of room. Completely. But, so anyways, I may or may not do that, but I'm thinking, because there's so many books that I want to get, so it's kind of like one of those things where these books will replace these books, so it's not like I'm like, oh, I don't know what to get. No, I just replace it, but I'm very flip-flopped. But yes, I might just have this as my comic haul. I may just see this in my Christmas comic haul. I know it's months away, but I'm one of those people that like it's more like a bunch of books I know I couldn't get all at once, but I want to get all at once kind of thing, you know. That's what my Christmas hauls are usually all about. So we're gonna Divine Volume 5. Then we have Transmetropolitan Volume 7. Book I like with Preacher, so I something I forgot to mention for Preacher. I think I was just getting too far ahead of myself. Preacher and Transmetropolitan are like among my top 10. Preacher will be number 1. Transmetropolitan, I would not know where to put it. I'd probably put it closer to probably most like a top 5. So top 5 is Transmetropolitan and Preacher on that list of comics of all time. So I that being said, I do want to constantly check it out with my local library, and that's the other thing. Yeah, I know I'm an Image Comics kick, because I want to get like all of Kieran Gillen's stuff for Image Comics, and that's all I need left is Wicked and Divine. Of course, is Image anthology shit. I don't count. But yeah, he has Wicked and Divine. That's all I need from him. But I think I should treat it the same as I treat Preacher. It's like, yeah, you could probably get more from Garth Ennis, that in your Garth Ennis collection overall, but you're fine with constantly reading at your local library because you save that much money, and it's one of those things. It's kind of like, think of it this way, I can. Next up, we have The Flash, Volume 6. This is the first volume in Robert Venditti's run. Completely done with Brian Buccella's run, which is kind of annoying because I wish there was more of his run, because I feel like all my problems would have gone away if the next run, the next volume wasn't as convoluted as it was. It wasn't super convoluted. It was kind of like like comic book convoluted, where it didn't have to go that far with it, and it didn't really complement the story. I still liked it the previous volume, but hopefully they have the rest of this run, because I want to finish it up. So the next 6 are all Star Wars, and the next 5 of the 6 are all rereads. I will say which one's not reread. So they're all Star Wars. I'm probably gonna try and watch. Actually, no, I should do it. I should watch Star Wars tomorrow. So what I want to do is I want to check out a bunch of the Marvel Star Wars books, and as I'm checking them out in my local library, I will also watch the movies. I'll finally finish the Star Wars original trilogies. I've yet to watch Return of the Jedi. It's just one of those movies that I'm kind of like flip-flopped about. It's weird to say that, because it's kind of like, well, I mean, you say that, but you already watched the sequel trilogy. Can't get worse than that. Yeah, you're right. And yeah, and I mean all the Star Wars movies. I mean all of them, except for the holiday special. I mean original trilogy, prequel trilogy, and sequel trilogy. Like back to back to back. Not back to back, but So hopefully by the time I get to all 9, I'll still be checking out Star Wars books. I probably should watch 2 per week then, in that case. But here they are. So it's Darth Vader Volume 1, Kieran Gillen's run. Then we have the Jason Aaron run, both of which I loved. My favorite Star Wars books from Disney Star Wars, from Marvel Star Wars, the relaunch at least. Then we have Han Solo and Princess Leia and Poe Dameron. Poe Dameron is Charles Soule's run. Princess Leia is the Mark Waid miniseries, and Han Solo is the Marjorie Liu miniseries. Now, Leia and Poe Dameron I didn't like almost at all, so I'm giving them a second chance. But Han Solo, I remember liking enough. It's Marjorie Liu, and I absolutely love her writing because of Monstrous and her. And I believe I read her, the NYX. Yep, she did NYX. I really liked that. So, how is there a book? And it's Star Wars. I like the Star Wars comics, especially that era. So why didn't I like it? It's kind of one of those things you think to yourself. So that is all the rereads. So now we're on to all new, never read before. And here's the last Star Wars book, and that is Star Wars Shattered Empire. Greg Rucka. And this is post, it does say at least, where does it say it? It's post Return of the Jedi. Yeah. So I probably should try and watch 3 in one. God. How's that gonna work? Alright, so next, 1, 2, 3 are OGNs. Got Mera. So this one is Mera. Now these are the DC Ink books. The DC Ink books, I am very, like, it's one of those books where, number one, I would never ever consider purchasing it myself, unless it somehow became worth a lot of money. But it's highly unlikely, because trades themselves don't usually become worth a lot of money. It's just kind of like, you know, that doesn't happen. But I haven't really hated any of the ones. The only ones I can remember hating, I mean absolutely hating, like Gotham High and I Am Not Starfire is so bad that it's entertaining. So I still came out of it like with a positive view on the book, because it's so bad it's good, you know, it's enjoyably bad. But Shadow of the Batgirl I remember absolutely hating, and I think they completely got the character wrong of Cassandra Cain. If you're thinking of, obviously, if you're thinking of, you know, continuity, you know, main continuity. And DC Inks aren't main continuity. These are books meant for young adults who are just getting into comics, but they are kind of intimidated by years and years, decades upon decades, almost a century worth of continuity. You know, and they're like, oh, what do I start? I'm too lazy to look it up online, you know? So they get these books, and I'm like, you know what? Oh yeah, I read a comic book. I read Mera, the Tidebreaker by Daniel Page. But these books aren't terrible. I've never come out of them like thinking it was obviously awful. They're enjoyable enough. You know, it's kind of like, it's honestly, in this I'm gonna insult them, but it's kind of like junk food. You know it's not the best thing. You know it's controversial, because these are controversial. Most of these come out and people don't like them. Like comic fans don't really like them. They consider them to be watered down versions at the very least of these characters. But you know, I come out mostly positive with these books, and I always like, you know, when I see one, I always consider buying it. I always consider checking out from my local library. So Mera Tidebreaker. Teen Titans Earth 1 Volume 2. So no new, so I'm gonna try third time's charm. I'm gonna really try to get that Teen Titans Scott Lobdell Volume 5. Now, why am I mentioning that? Well, if I put in Teen Titans Volume 5 Scott Lobdell, I originally got Volume 1 of the series. But it's one of the only times where I have read, I heard dang, one of the only times where I've gotten the wrong book and it's worked out almost like completely for the better. Yeah, I would like to get Scott Lobdell Volume 5, but I came out really enjoying Volume 1 of Earth 1. So, Volume 2. And hopefully it's out. Hopefully it has a definitive ending, because there's no Volume 3, and no news of Volume 3. But I think they like to be trilogies. And I know Batman completed it, but Superman hasn't. The Green Lantern one by Karina Benchko and Gabriel Harmon that hasn't finished up yet. It's very strange. Next up we have the Unwritten. This is the only OGN in the series, and it's like I looked at the back of it. It's a prequel, so you'll see the review for that once I finish all the books. Because yes, I will. You know, I'll come right out and say it. Because I'm uploading a day later, I have finished Unwritten. It's the only one I finished so far. Let's move on. Next up, we have The Red Mother. This is who the artist. It sounds so familiar. Dane Luckert. I don't know, but the writer is Jeremy Huon. There's another one I put in once, never got it, and I just thought they'd never have it, but then I realized, oh, it's from Dover. I got a bunch of books from Dover. Why didn't I get this one? I believe it was because it was too new, too recent of a book, even though I don't think it was. I mean, they got volumes 1 and 2 all together, you know, kind of thing. Volume 3, I was not finding, so I'll have to go to other means to finish off the series. But it's a series that I like Jeremy Huon's writing, and I want to read more. And my library seems to have almost nothing of what he's done. Jason Latour, Spider-Gwen, Volume 6. Final volume in Jason Latour's run on Spider-Man. Bloodborne, Volume 2, Alice Cott. I really enjoyed Volume 1. I cannot wait to read Volume 2. Livewire, It's about volume 1. It's a Vida Il Valiant Comics book. That is a double. That's a double. That's like a double negative. So will that make a positive? Let's see. Vida Il, I like with Tom King. I don't hate her as much as everyone else does, but I haven't read a whole lot from her. So to get a better view on her as a writer, I want to check out more. Not purchase it, but check out more what she's done. So far, I've read her Static Shock books. I actually kind of liked her Morbius. I actually kind of liked, and I had to remember everything else I've read from her. But Livewire. Now this next one, I am so excited to read. I finally had it. I was able to. And the next two are the same kind of book where I was eagerly anticipating it, but it was too new of a book for me to check it out. So I had to wait on Fantastic Four Life Story. Unfortunately, it's not written by Mark. It's not written. It is written by Mark Russell. It's not written by Chip Zdarsky, who brought us Spider-Man Life Story. It's instead written by Mark Russell. But I do like Mark Russell's writing, even if he's very tropey. But good tropey in my opinion. And the next one is James Asmus's Survival Street. Like with like with Jeremy Huon, my local library does not seem to have a lot of what James Asmus has written, but it's his most recent book, I believe, not including his Comicsology original. That I can think of off the top of my head. It also hasn't written a whole lot. If you told me what has James Asmus ever done in a run in X-Men, I would say yeah, technically he did some annuals. Has he ever done a run on Spider-Man? Fuck if I know. Name 5 books James Asmus has done. Evolution, End Times of Bremen Braun, The Survival Street, the X-Men book I mentioned before, and the first one. It's a shame though. It's a shame too because I did come out really. I really like that trilogy of annuals he did for X-Men. It was Steve Rogers, Super Soldier. I forget what it was called. It's Uncanny X-Men. I read it recently, so if you really want to go back to it, it's gonna be hard to find it. Even I don't know which specific book what video it was. It was the I'm pretty sure, I'm actually almost positive, it was the one right after my birthday haul, way back in May. Or June, rather. So probably the first one in June, I don't know. Suburban Glamour, Jimmy McKelvey. He's the artist for Waking the Divine. He wrote an Image Comics series I never even heard of, so it's like, let's check that out. But yeah, he writes that, and does the artwork too, but he writes it was the main thing. And finally, last but not least, God is Dead, Volume 2. The book that I decided to drop completely because of how boring Volume 1 was. Oh, and hey, it's all Mike Costa. Nice! Shit! I think. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, issue 1 I did not like at all. Yeah, no, it's all written. Yay, never mind. I take it back. It's all written by Mike Costa. So this is a perfect way for me to see if Mike Costa is as good as a writer as I remember him being. Yeah, issue 1 of God is Dead I didn't like, but as it went on, as it went along, I liked it more and more, and I ended up really enjoying it. But I had dropped it. So that was a week where I had put in so many requests I did not have enough to I had sacrificed some books. So that was one of the books I had to sacrifice, and that's why I haven't checked out Gotham Academy again. The next volume may or may not, but probably not. So that, as they say, is that. I'm pretty sure I went over everything. A lot of books, 2 movies. I'm gonna get some reading done.